Okay, so it's time for us to get back into our coverage over the X-Men. And so with that being said, we're going to pick back up with some more Wolverine comics and pick up with issues number 79, 80, and 81, which was, of course, written by Larry Hama. Yep, we are going to continue to coverage his run on the character of Wolverine. Now, with all that being said, we do pick up Wolverine no longer having adamantium because remember, thanks to Fatal Attractions, you had Magneto being able to rip off the adamantium off the bones of Wolverine. Now, we also had discovered that Wolverine had bone claws. Now, this is Wolverine trying to adjust to the idea of no longer having the adamantium on his bones, but also his healing factor is no longer working properly like it used to in the past. And so you had Wolverine leave the X-Men and begin to travel around the world to kind of just be alone and to adjust to this new idea of no longer having adamantium on his bones. And so getting into Wolverine issue number 79, we do pick up with Logan at a bank right now just trying to withdraw some money from his account in Scotland. But here comes the big problem though. You see, while trying to withdraw some money, he is quickly surrounded by a bunch of guys who work for Special Air Services. And the reason why, because there was somebody else there earlier who was pretending to be him, but also trying to empty out his account. But apparently that person got denied and then decided to wreck the place. Now, while you have these guards right now trying to arrest Wolverine, we are then introduced to Zoe Colladon. Now, when it comes to Zoe, she'll become somewhat important for Wolverine in a few storylines that we have not covered just yet. But for Zoe, she's kind of like, hey, listen, I have all the qualifications to kind of take over what's happening right now at the bank. And so she kicks out the Special Air Services to have a one-on-one conversation with Wolverine. And she does inform him what had happened earlier when it came to somebody else trying to empty out his account. Now for Wolverine, he's wondering who in the world was trying to empty out his account. And we come to find out that it was Cyber. Now, we have not seen Cyber in a long time when it comes to our coverage over the X-Men. But for Wolverine, he had always wondered what happened to Cyber since their last battle. Now, for Zoe, she still does not believe that she's currently talking to Wolverine because she scanned him and she can tell that he no longer has adamantium. And so you have Logan go out of his way to pop out one of his claws to kind of prove that yes, it is him, but he had also gone through some changes recently. But now we have to jump over to a nearby university. Now, when we do, we pick up with, well, Cyber. Now, you have Cyber at the moment wanting to look at the dead body of William Burke. Now, William Burke is, or was, a real person in our world. He was somebody who had killed off 16 people in the past. It was truly messed up, but here's the thing, for Cyber, we get reminded that he had fell into a huge amount of drugs that makes him hallucinate. So unfortunately, he's not seeing the dead body of William Burke. Instead, he's seeing the dead body of Wolverine, the skeleton of Wolverine. Now, something else we have to remember here is that for Cyber, he had adamantium grafted onto his body. And so what he wants to do now is to find Wolverine and take Logan's adamantium and add it to his own. But here's the thing. Cyber has no idea that Logan no longer has adamantium. And so for Cyber, he's in for one heck of a surprise. But now we have to jump over to Wolverine. Now, Wolverine is still with Zoe, and you have Zoe inform Wolverine that she is a member of a company called Landau, Luckman, and Lake Law Firm. Now, this was a law firm that really dealt with Wolverine's properties and assets. Now, here comes the big thing. You see, she wants to get revenge against Wolverine, and the reason why, because she believes that Wolverine was the one who had killed off a character known as Chang. Now, Chang was a character we barely talked about, and I mean like in the way early parts of our coverage over the X-Men. You see, he had an office in Madripoor for the same company, but he was killed off by Roughhouse, a different person. But she currently believes that it was Logan who had killed off Chang, and so right now it's her trying to get revenge for Chang. Now, while you have those two fighting, you have Cyber go back to the bank while on his way over to the bank that he tried to rob earlier. Now, on his way over there, he's then confronted by more members of the Special Air Services because now they recognize him and their goal is to go ahead and bring him down. But while all that is going on, you did have Zoe being given proof that Logan was not the one who had killed Dolph Chang, that in reality it was Bloodscream a long time ago. Now, as you have Logan walk outside the room, he's then confronted by Cyber. Now, this is the moment where you have Cyber begin to learn that Logan no longer has adamantium on his bones. And so for Cyber, he's kind of like, what in the world happened to you? He has no idea that Magneto was the one who had ripped off the adamantium of Logan's body, but either way, you still have the two characters battle against each other. Now, for Logan, he no longer has his healing factor. Like, yes, it's still around, but it's not as good as it used to be. And so he has to be more careful when it comes to battling against Cyber. Now, earlier, we saw Cyber be chased down by the Special Air Services. Well, they follow him back over to this location. And so they're outside right now trying to get in and blow the place up to get to Cyber. And so while all that is happening, you didn't have Cyber being able to pin Wolverine to the floor and break one set of bone claws that belonged to Wolverine. And again, without a healing factor, it hurts a whole lot, but also he's not able to heal up properly. Now, you do have Zoe finally help out by dropping a file cabinet right on top of Cyber. Now, that should kill him off, but apparently it does not. But you did have her grab Logan to get the heck out of there before they're also arrested by the authorities as well. And they get into her fancy car. Now, she does ask Logan, where do you want to go? And he says, take me over to Muir Island. And so as we dive into Wolverine issue number 80, we now pick up with Wolverine with Zoe, and they're on their way over to Muir Island, but he's having this nightmare where you have Cyber being able to attack Logan in this dream, where it's Cyber just tearing off the bone claws of Wolverine. And so once Logan does wake up, he's kind of wondering what he saw in his dreams was actually true. It's kind of like he had blocked out the memories of kind of seeing his bone claws be broken by Cyber in the last chapter. And so you have Wolverine pop his claws out to only see that it was true, that his bone claws were broken off earlier by Cyber. Now, at the end of the last chapter, we saw Zoe being able to drop a whole file cabinet right on top of Cyber. And so when the police arrive at the scene, they're kind of like, yeah, he's dead. Go ahead and take him away. The problem is that once you have the two paramedics begin the process of trying to take away Cyber, he wakes up and he kills all the two paramedics and then takes over the vehicle to hopefully find Wolverine very soon to get revenge against Logan and also Zoe. But while all that is happening, we jump back over to Wolverine and Zoe. Now, for Zoe, she's trying her best to give Wolverine some form of medicine to kind of help ease the pain that he's currently going through. The problem is that Logan is not trying to take any medicine at all at the moment. Instead, what he wants her to do is pull over at a nearby pub so that he's able to get a drink or two, or five. Now, for Zoe, she wants confirmation that did Wolverine kill off Bloodscream, the person who had killed Dolph Chang? Now, for Wolverine, he tells her like, yeah, listen, I did kill off Bloodscream a long time ago. Like, that dude's officially dead. But in reality, Bloodscream is alive. You see, we jump over to the city where you had Wolverine supposedly kill off Bloodscream, but also left the dead body of Scylla as well. The police arrive where Logan told them to go to, except they only find one dead body, and that would be Scylla. And the question is right now, where in the world is Bloodscream's body? We kind of find out that Bloodscream did not die in our last Wolverine video. That matter of fact, he's alive. And right now, we're seeing Bloodscream kill off an older couple to be able to steal their vehicle to hopefully go chase down Wolverine. And so now, he's back in the picture again. Now we can go ahead and jump back over to Zoe and Logan, where you have Logan being kicked out of the bar. And the reason why? because homeboy got drunk. You see, for Logan, without his healing factor being as strong as it used to be, he's no longer able to withstand the ability of not getting drunk. So homeboy got drunk and got kicked out. Now for Zoe, you also have her thanking Logan for killing Golf Bloodscream for killing Golf Chang. Now for Logan, he hates the idea of anybody trying to give him thanks for killing somebody. Because for Logan, he does not enjoy the idea of killing people. He hates it a lot. He hates the idea of taking someone's life. But either way, you have Logan say, you know what? Let's go ahead and continue on our way over to Muir Island. Now, for me, Larry Hama always try to give us some funny moments in his book. And for me, this is one of those funny moments because when we jump back over to Cyber, we get reminded once again that the dude had taken a huge amount of drugs that were basically causing him to see a huge amount of hallucinations. And so right now he is imagining that the vehicle that he's in currently is like half advanced, half not. But in reality, it's just an ambulance. But either way, he's still on his way to hunt down Wolverine because apparently the drugs had also kind of upgraded him as well, allowing him to hunt down somebody by following their brain patterns. But as we get back over to Wolverine, you have Wolverine telling Zoe that without the adamantium being bonded to his bones, his healing factor is, well, completely out of whack. And so he could be on the verge of, well, dying. Now, you then have Zoe pull out a portable TV, and she brings up a video of a guy known as Dr. Jamie Munoz. Now, for Dr. Jamie, he is a scientist, and apparently he has been working on trying to bond metal to human bones. But of course, he needs more information to actually complete this project. But also, he was able to get a DNA sample from the Weapon X program. But he's also calling out for Logan to help Logan, but to also use Logan to complete his research. Now we get into the ending of the second chapter where you do have Cyber being able to catch up to Logan. And once he does, it's really more of Cyber trying his best to kill off Logan. But you did have Logan once again being able to defeat Cyber. By this time, being able to light the ambulance on fire. So we're kind of left to believe in the possibility that Cyber is going to die. Now you also have Zoe take her vehicle and drive it onto an outgoing boat. And you didn't have Wolverine tell the owner of the boat, hey, listen, I'm going to need you to take us all the way over to Muir Island. And so for the end of this chapter, it does look like our heroes should be going over to Muir Island, but also like Cyber could possibly be dead. But as we get into the final chapter for today's storyline, we now pick up with Wolverine just going wild and crazy. You see, his health is falling apart at a faster rate to the point where he's now beginning to hallucinate. He's now beginning to believe that the different people who have been around him for years are secretly working for Magneto. They had arrived to Muir Island, and so it's Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, Moira Taggart, and also Zoe trying to work together to calm down Wolverine. But the problem is he's becoming more savage. Now, you do have Zoe being able to tranquilize him, but luckily she was there because for Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, and Moira Taggart, it kind of seemed like they had no idea what to do to calm down Logan. And just like the last chapter, you have the police arrive hoping to find a dead body when it comes to Cyber, except when they get to the ambulance, Cyber is no longer there. The dude has survived. He had got into the water, and we see him going after a couple who is just using their speedboat for fun. And so he kills them off to continue his hunt for Wolverine. But getting back over to Muir Island, we kind of find out that for Logan, what's happening to him right now is that his body was pumped full of different types of toxins. And so right now for Moira Taggart, her main goal is to find a way to flush out all the bad things in his system to hopefully heal up Logan. but also these toxins are beginning to turn Logan into a different kind of person. Now, this is the form of Wolverine that people did not like when it came to Larry Hama's run. And honestly, we'll talk more about that in later videos down the road. But for right now, things are going south very quickly. Now, for Moira McTaggart, her main goal is to move Wolverine into a containment room as a way to contain him so that they can work on him, but also making sure that he does not get free to hurt other people. Now, here comes the big problem. The hallucinations are getting worse. And so while you have everyone there just trying to help out Logan, he believes that currently he's being dragged by people who work for Magneto. But you also have Cyber being able to destroy a generator. And so with that now being gone, they're no longer able to contain Wolverine in the containment room. And you have Wolverine going berserk. Now everyone else backs up except for Kitty Pryde. And honestly, I like this moment a lot because it reminds us that for Wolverine, she was kind of like Kitty Pryde's father when she had joined the X-Men. I always been saying this, that when it comes to Kitty Pryde, when she had first joined the X-Men, it was Storm and Wolverine who were mainly in her corner. Yes, Colossus as well, but that was more of a crush. But Wolverine and Storm, they were kind of like her mother and father. And so for Logan, at first, he does attack her, but she was able to phase just in time to dodge his attack. And once he goes through her, he realized that he almost hurt somebody that he truly cares. It breaks him out of his hallucination state. Now, the book really does wrap up very quickly here because once you do have Cyber arrive, you do have Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, and also Zoe tried their best to bring him down. And of course, because this is a Wolverine book, they cannot be the ones to actually stop Cyber. It has to come down to Wolverine. And so you have Wolverine being able to push Cyber into the containment room. Now, once that is done, you then have Moira McTaggart being able to get the backup system going to close down the containment system. So Cyber is now locked in there for the time being. And so with him now being handled, Wolverine is now able to sit down and spend some time with Kitty Pryde. And really, the book ends on that note. So we're getting one step closer into jumping into the Phalanx Covenant storyline. But with that being said, guys, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, I'll see you on the next comic book video.